I want you to think about the last time you were sitting in a car dealership. The salesman slid a little card across the desk. On it, one number, a monthly payment. And in that moment, everything else kind of disappeared. The total price of the car, the interest, the fees, the fine print, all of it faded into the background because that one number felt manageable. It felt like the decision. That's exactly what they want you to do. I've spent 30 years working in finance. I've sat across from hundreds of people who made a $30,000 decision based on a $299 number. And most of them had no idea what that decision actually cost them until it was already too late. Today we're going to fix that. I'm going to take two guys who walk into the same dealership on the same day, want the same car, and make different choices. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens to each of them over 10 years. Not just year one, not just the monthly payment, the whole picture. By the end of this, you'll never look at a car deal the same way again. Meet Chris and David. Same city, same job, same $55,000 salary. Both walk into the same dealership wanting the same car, a $30,000 sedan. Same model, same trim, same color. They even arrive on the same day. The only thing different is what they sign. Chris signs a 36-month lease, $2,000 due at signing, $299 a month. The salesman tells him it's a great deal. Low monthly payment, brand new car, full warranty, and in 3 years he can just hand the keys back and walk away. Clean. Simple. No strings. David takes out a 60-month auto loan at 6% interest. His down payment is $3,000 and his monthly payment is $522. That's $223 more than Chris every single month. The salesman doesn't even have to say a word. David can already feel that difference. Day one, Chris drives off the lot feeling like he outsmarted the system. Lower payment, newer car, no long-term commitment. What's not to like? But here's what Chris doesn't realize yet. And this is the thing that changes everything when you finally see it. Every dollar David spends is buying him a piece of something. Every dollar Chris spends is renting a piece of something. And that distinction, played out over years, is worth tens of thousands of dollars. For the first 3 years, Chris is living the car dream. Brand new vehicle, that smell when you open the door, full manufacturer warranty. Something goes wrong mechanically? Covered. Needs new brake pads? Covered. AC dies in July? Covered. His only costs are his lease payment, insurance, and gas. That's it. No surprises, no anxiety, no $1,400 repair bill showing up on a random Tuesday. David's story is messier. He's paying $522 every month and watching his car lose value in real time. The moment he drove off the lot, his $30,000 car was worth around $27,000. End of year one, maybe $23,000. End of year two, around $20,000. But his loan balance is still sitting near $22,000. That means for the first 2 years, David owes more than the car is worth. That's called being underwater, and psychologically, it genuinely feels awful. Every payment feels like it's going into a hole with no bottom. Chris sees this, everyone sees this, and the verdict feels obvious. Chris made the smarter call. Now let's run the actual numbers through year 3. Chris has paid $2,000 down plus 36 months at $299. Total spent $12,764. David has paid $3,000 down plus 36 payments at $522. Total spent $21,792. Chris has spent $9,028 less than David. On paper, Chris is winning by almost $10,000. That's not a small gap. That's a real number. But year 3 is exactly where the story turns. Chris's lease is up. He drives back to the dealership, and he's got 3 options. Option 1, buy the car at its residual value, the price locked in at the start of the lease. On a $30,000 car after 3 years, that's usually $16,000 to $18,000. Option 2, walk away, hand back the keys, owe nothing. Option 3, lease something brand new, start the whole cycle over. Chris does what about 80% of people in his position do. He leases again. New car, New contract, another $2,000 at signing, another $299 a month, another 36 months. The odometer resets to 0, the payment counter does not. Now look at David. He's 36 months into a 60-month loan. He still has 24 payments left. Not glamorous, but here's the thing. David has an end date. It's sitting on his calendar. Every payment he makes brings him one step closer to owning this car completely. Every payment Chris makes brings him one step closer to giving the car back and starting over. This is the part of the leasing conversation that the monthly payment number completely hides. One path is a conveyor belt that never stops. The other has a finish line. Month 60. David makes his last payment. That's it. Done. The title is his. From this point on, his only car-related costs are insurance, gas, and maintenance, running about $100 to $150 a month for a typical sedan. Oil changes, tires, the occasional repair. Chris is still swiping for $299 every month. He doesn't think about it much anymore because it's just become part of life. And that right there is the real danger of leasing. It normalizes a permanent car payment. It fades into the background noise of your monthly budget. But background noise still costs money. Every single month, forever. Let's check the numbers at the end of year 6. Chris has now completed 2 full lease cycles. Here's his total. $2,000 down on lease 1, $10,764 in payments. Then $2,000 down on lease 2, another $10,764 in payments. Grand total, $25,528. And what does he own? Nothing. No asset, no title, just a stack of receipts and a car he has to give back. David has spent $3,000 down plus $31,320 in loan payments. Total, $34,320. But he now has 0 monthly car payments, and he owns a car worth roughly $11,000 to $13,000. When you subtract that asset value from what he spent, his effective cost lands around $21,000 to $23,000. Chris spent $25,528, owns nothing. David's effective cost, roughly $22,000. Car in the driveway, title in the drawer. The flip happened quietly. Nobody made an announcement, but it happened. And from this point forward, every single month that passes makes David's position stronger and Chris's weaker. Let's talk about what's actually inside that $299. The monthly payment is the number the dealership trains you to focus on. It's on the commercial, it's on the website, it's on that little card the salesman slides across the desk. What doesn't get slid across the desk is everything attached to it. Mileage caps. Most standard leases allow 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. Sounds fine until you realize the average American drives about 13,500 miles a year. That means the average driver blows past the limit before the lease is even done. The penalty? Typically 15 to 25 cents per mile over. Drive 5,000 miles over across 3 years, and you're looking at $750 to $1,250 due the day you hand back the keys. It doesn't show up until the end. It just appears on your final bill like a surprise invoice you didn't budget for. Wear and tear charges. When you return the car, they inspect it. That small door ding from a parking lot, the coffee stain on the back seat, the scuffed wheel from one bad parallel parking attempt, all of it is potentially billable. And here's the catch. Would you consider normal wear? The leasing company might price at $300. You don't get to define that term. They do. Disposition fees. Most people have never even heard of this. When you return a leased car and decide not to lease another one from the same dealer, you get charged a fee, usually $300 to $500, just for them to process the car and resell it. You are literally paying them to take it back. And if your life changes in the middle of a lease, you move to a city, lose your job, your situation shifts, getting out early can cost you the full remaining balance. There's no easy exit. You signed up for it. The deal owns you until it's done. None of this lives inside the $299, but it always shows up eventually. If I only showed you the bad side of leasing, I wouldn't be doing my job. There are real situations where leasing is the smarter financial move, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. If you're self-employed or own a business and the car is used for work, lease payments can be partially or fully deductible as a business expense. That tax advantage alone can completely close the gap and, in some cases, tip the math in leasing's favor. This is a legitimate strategy, and your accountant will confirm it. If you drive a luxury or high-performance car, the warranty math changes dramatically. An oil change on a BMW isn't $40. A brake job isn't $300. When out-of-warranty maintenance costs are genuinely punishing, staying permanently inside warranty coverage has real dollar value. Leasing a BMW is a completely different conversation than leasing a Toyota Camry. And if you're the type of person who takes the $223 monthly saving from leasing versus buying and actually invests it consistently every month into an index fund, you could theoretically come out ahead over a long enough time horizon. The math works, but it requires a level of discipline that most people honestly don't have. Be straight with yourself about whether that money would actually go into an account or whether it would just quietly disappear into everyday spending. Buying has real costs too, and anyone who glosses over them isn't giving you the full story. Once the manufacturer warranty expires, usually around year 3 or 4, everything is on you. Brakes, tires, belts, the AC compressor failing on the hottest week of the summer. For a typical sedan, maintenance costs run $1,200 to $1,800 a year past warranty. Some years it's just oil changes and a tire rotation. Other years it's a $2,000 repair that completely blindsides you. And depreciation is real. Your $30,000 car is worth $20,000 after 2 years. That value didn't go anywhere. It just evaporated. The key difference is that depreciation slows down sharply after the first few years. A 5-year-old car doesn't lose value anywhere near as fast as a brand new one. The longer you hold it, the less that depreciation hurts. Time is completely on the buyer's side. Here's where the full story lands. Over 10 years, Chris has gone through 3 to 4 lease cycles. Each round costs him roughly $12,000 to $13,000 in payments and fees, and that's before mileage overages, wear and tear charges, and disposition fees across multiple contracts. His total 10-year spend lands somewhere between $45,000 and $52,000. At the end of year 10, he has no car, or more accurately, he has a car he can't keep. David paid $34,320 for his loan. After that, he spent roughly $10,000 to $14,000 on maintenance and repairs over the following 5 to 7 years of ownership. His total 10-year spend, $44,000 to $48,000. And there is a car in his driveway, older, sure, but worth $4,000 to $6,000 and completely paid for. When you net it all out, David spent less and has an asset. Chris spent more and has nothing. The gap over a decade is $15,000 to $25,000, depending on lease terms, maintenance costs, and how long David keeps the car. And here's what makes that number really significant. Most people don't do this once. They do it 3, 4, 5 times over their adult life. Multiply that gap by 5, and you're looking at a 6-figure difference in lifetime wealth between someone who habitually leases and someone who buys and holds. Chris and David both walked into that dealership thinking they were making the smart play. Chris thought he was saving money. David thought he was building something. Neither of them actually sat down and ran the numbers past month 1. That's the real trap. Not leasing, not buying. The real trap is making a $30,000 decision based on a monthly payment without ever asking, what does this actually cost me over 5 years, 10 years, a lifetime? For the average person driving an average car, buying and holding wins. It's not exciting. Nobody's making videos about driving a paid-off 7-year-old sedan. But the math doesn't care about what's exciting. It just keeps adding up quietly, month after month, in whichever direction you chose. And if you're thinking about skipping the loan entirely and just paying cash up front, that's a completely different conversation, and the answer might genuinely surprise you. But for now, the next time someone slides a monthly payment across the desk and it looks almost too good to be true, Ask yourself one question. What does this actually cost me when it's all over? Because that's the only number that matters.